We all know one thing about Lewis Hamilton: he's a legend. He's raced in Formula One for 3 decades, winning a record equaling 7 world championships, triple-digit pole positions, and a knighthood to boot. We all know Hamilton is a driving prodigy, but there's so much more to him than that. He's a complicated character, from his work to improve diversity in racing to a developing music career to his relationship with championship rivals. So here are some facts about the Formula One champion that you may not have known. Hamilton was a beast when it came to remote-controlled vehicle racing. Lewis Hamilton has a lot of innate skill from the start. Lewis' father, Anthony, gave him a remote-controlled vehicle when he was 6 years old. Hamilton finished second in a nationwide competition against adults using an electric automobile within a year. He also won Best Rookie in the petrol class, which is quite an accomplishment given that he was the youngest competitor by at least 15 years. Even as a 7-time Formula One world champion, Hamilton recalls these moments and the pride they brought him. Without a doubt, it was a sensation he would return to as he progressed through the racing series. He told McLaren's supervisor to sign him when he was just 13 years old. Perhaps it was a young Lewis Hamilton's early confidence that inspired him to make a career-defining action. Lewis approached Ron Dennis, team head of McLaren Formula One team, when he was only a teenager. These two confrontations would shape not just Lewis' life, but also the future of the sport. Dennis recalled the encounters. He asked for my autograph. 2 years later he came back, asked for my autograph again. There was a brightness and determination on my face. At that time, I was a bit bored, that's the truth. I told him I would sponsor his future seasons, but he had to do everything I say. The first thing was, to his disappointment, that he was going back to school. Hamilton would make his Formula One debut with McLaren over a decade later. On his debut, he finished third in Australia, followed by 4 second-place finishes until winning his first race in Canada. Dennis' bet on the child came off nicely. Hamilton and Ashley Young were in the same school year. When Hamilton returned to school, he was in good company. Hamilton was born in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, and attended the John Henry Newman School there. Ashley Young, formerly of Manchester United in England, was one of his classmates. As a result, he was in good athletic company. Lewis used to be superstitious, but left ridiculous routines behind. Many racers would rely on lucky charms or rituals to assist them on race day. Michael Schumacher preferred odd numbers, Sebastian Vettel wore lucky silver in his race shoes, and Stefano Modena detested the right side of the garage. Lewis Hamilton was the same way. He told James Corden and Tom Brady, "First must have been 10 or 11, and my brother gave me this conker. It was my lucky conker, so I put it in my suit. I don't know what happened to the damn thing, it came out of my trouser leg and I lost this damn conker. Then I had this lucky pair of underwear, and my mum shrunk them. It wasn't until I was 17 or 18, and I had a sequence of how to get dressed. Right sock first, then, left sock. I got in the car in Germany, about to start the race, and my helmet wasn't done up. So, I'd missed one of the elements of these steps I had made crucial to getting the job done. I remember I crashed several seconds later, and after that, I thought, this is ridiculous, it's all in my head. So, I got rid of all that. We create those things in our minds." The junior series was dominated by Lewis Hamilton. As they progress through the series, drivers in modern open-wheel racing may expect stiff competition. On the Formula One grid, young drivers vie for the attention of team managers in F3 and F2. Hamilton, on the other hand, easily blazed through the field. He won the Formula 3 Euro Series in 2005. The British driver won 15 of the 20 races and 13 pole positions. He won the championship by 78 points over Adrian Sutil, Lucas di Grassi, and Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton's momentum was continued when he moved up to GP2 the following year. With Nelson Piquet Jr. and Timo Glock as his main rivals, Hamilton won the series on the first try, although by a tighter margin of 12 points. Ron Dennis was encouraged by Hamilton's performances to elevate him to a Formula One seat. In his first season of Premier Class racing, Hamilton equaled world champion Fernando Alonso for points, although both finished 1 point short of Kimi Raikkonen's championship-clinching total of 101. Hamilton abandoned his yellow Senna-inspired helmet. It was tough to miss Hamilton on the track after a streak of victories in his junior years. Not to mention his unique helmet design. He donned a bright yellow helmet in tribute of his hero, Ayrton Senna, throughout his first 2 Formula One seasons. Of course, this hue is associated with the driver's Brazilian nationality. Designer Sid Mosca, on the other hand, described the yellow base as expressing youth, with a green stripe signifying aggression and a blue stripe representing movement. For many years, Hamilton wore a yellow helmet with blue and green lines and a red line. Hamilton began to add more red onto his helmet in 2014, while keeping the yellow characteristics. In 2020, however, there was a big change. Hamilton chose a black helmet with purple accents to show his support for the Black Lives Matter movement. This was a break from his 2 decades of painting yellow and red on his lid, but it was an effective way to make a message. Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton were formerly close buddies. Their upbringings are diametrically opposed. Hamilton grew up in Stevenage, where his father worked a variety of jobs to supplement his father's income. Rosberg grew up in the wealthy Monaco of his championship-winning father, Kiki. Rosberg and Hamilton, on the other hand, became friends as they advanced through the younger stages. In the year 2000, the two worked together on the Mercedes-Benz McLaren karting squad. A fellow competitor, Robert Kubica, recalled how they competed on every level. They would even have races to eat pizza, always eating 2 at a time. Their professional paths subsequently diverged. Rosberg made his debut for Williams in 2006, and Hamilton followed suit the following year. The British driver finished just 1 point behind world champion Kimi Raikkonen in his first season. Rosberg's first podium, though, came the following season, at the Australian Grand Prix, which Hamilton won. The couple famously kissed in the cool-down area. As the seasons went on, the pair rejoined Mercedes as partners. However, the relationship was fraught with squabbles, prompting Hamilton to remark in an interview, "We are not friends." Lewis Hamilton has been on one of Christina Aguilera's songs. Lewis is a blossoming musician, as anyone who follows him on Instagram would know. He frequently releases video footage of his recording setup or his development on the piano or guitar. But it's Lewis' voice that have already landed him a record deal. Hamilton performed as XNDA on the tune "Pipe" from Christina Aguilera's 2018 album Liberation. He raps a short verse on the single, which he disclosed, naturally, on Instagram was written and recorded in 2 hours. He said, "I had this incredibly beautiful and talented person reach out to me a while back asking for me to be on her album. I was so blown away and I jumped at the opportunity. I had 2 hours to write the short verse and record. The goal was to have the music come out under a different name so that you could hear the music first and later know it was me, but it didn't work out the way I'd planned." Hamilton is aiming to boost black people's representation in racing. Some have claimed that greater action, rather than symbolism, is necessary as Formula One continues to take a knee before the race and pause to appreciate the "we race as one" message. Lewis Hamilton now has command of the situation. In June 2020, he will launch the Hamilton Commission, with the purpose of raising the representation of black individuals in UK racing. When announcing the formation of the inquiry, Lewis stated, "Despite my success in the sport, the institutional barriers that have kept F1 highly exclusive persist. It is not enough to point to me, or to a single new black hire, as a meaningful example of progress. Thousands of people are employed across this industry and that group needs to be more representative of society." He will work with a commissioning board and the Royal Academy of Engineering to identify key barriers to the recruitment and progression of black people in UK racing and devise practical measures to overcome them. Lewis Hamilton is the 4th Formula One driver to get a knighthood. Lewis Hamilton was knighted in the 2021 New Year's Honours List for matching Michael Schumacher's record of 7 world championships. Sir Jack Brabham, 3 championships, Sir Sterling Moss, no championships, and Sir Jackie Stewart have all come before him, 3 titles. So it was long overdue for Hamilton to be knighted. However, he may have to wait a while before receiving his accolade at Buckingham Palace. Investitures for the medal were paused during the pandemic and will resume in June 2021. However, due to his rigorous schedule, Hamilton may be unable to accept the distinction for some time. This is the end of the video. If you want more videos, subscribe and check out my other videos on the screen. Thanks for watching.